A very pleasant good night, my beloved brothers and sisters in Christ and outside the body of Christ. Well, once again, this is your Christian brother Eric Braxton speaking to you all from his beloved country, Trinidad and Tobago, the land of my nativity, the land of my birth, Trinidad and Tobago, this wonderful island country, of course, that is in the blue Caribbean Sea. Brothers and sisters, have you all heard this recently that the leader of Hezbollah, the the religious, shall I say guerrilla organization, or the religious revolution organization, or the religious militant organization, right? Well, if these three terms apply to them, but there's a military force in the country Beirut, Lebanon, and there's 100,000 fighters, but the national army of the state of Lebanon is only 80,000, so there is about 20,000. There are 20,000 more soldiers than the government soldiers. So they say it's a force to be reckoned with. And that's recently, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, the leader of Hezbollah have come out and said that this was a click of his finger. His fighters are ready to respond to the click of his finger, to go into battle, and they could blow away and move away mountains. But who is he trying to frighten with that? The state of Israel? The state of Israel? He believes, silly on his part, ladies and gentlemen, silly on his part. He's trying to frighten the Jewish state, the state of Israel, with his 100,000 fighters. I pity him, ladies and gentlemen. I know that the Mohozzazeh, I hope I pronounced the word right, the Secret Service of Israel, the Jewish state, are monitoring and listening everything that he's doing. And of course, the Prime Minister and the opposition leader, the former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and the whole Jewish state is watching and listening what he's saying. And the Jewish force is ready to respond. Plus, America, England, and France, the Western powers, is backing Israel to the fullest, a full 100% support in giving Israel popping up. The military machinery of Israel, backing them to see they have the high-tech weapons. You understand? Plane, helicopter, etc. and etc. And plus the own weaponry that Israel arm factory or the arm industry is manufacturing their own weapon. What America is giving them and what they are purchasing other weapons, other parts of the world. So the Israeli military army is well equipped. You understand? So Hamas believe, Hezbollah believe, with their 100,000 fighters, they think they could just invade the state of Israel, overthrow the Jewish government, and drive out all the Jews outside of Palestine and say, we don't want no more Jews here. Now we get back our land. All they say God give all of that land. We say God did not give all of that land. We say all they take it from us. Now we get rid of all the Jews. All they stay outside of Palestine. And you will bring in all the Arabs, PLO, Hezbollah, and all of them in Israel. And then that's what that you want to achieve, that he want to achieve with the state of Iran, so that they will have Jerusalem as the capital now. Hezbollah will have Jerusalem as the capital, right? So it will have no more Jews in Israel, and he will be in Jerusalem as the new leader, or they will install an Arab leader in Jerusalem, and all the Jews will be outside of Palestine. All you think that will happen? He think that will happen. Wish think another guy showing you the silliness of him. He does know better, ladies and gentlemen. He does know better. And he tried to frighten us Well, America, France, and all, especially Israel with his 100,000 fighters. What you all think out there? All you think that the leader of Hezbollah, with his silliness on his part, think that by he coming out and say we have a house, 100,000 fighters, you think they will be able to defeat the state of Israel with that 100,000 fighters, ladies and gentlemen? And kick out all the Jews and they will take over? And no more Jews in Palestine. Wishful thinking on his part, ladies and gentlemen. I'm saying all these things to drive home the point so that you all understand the principle, what I'm teaching you all. That land was given to the Jews. And the Jews will always have Jerusalem as the eternal capital because God gave them that land. And they will always maintain that land because God is defending the Jews. He's defending the Jews from all their enemies who want to eliminate them and wipe them out. He's defending the state of Judah, the house of Judah, because the seed of David will enjoy it forever. Whether he is ignorant of that, this is the teaching of the scriptures. You understand, ladies and gentlemen? So I am not really frightened about these 100,000 fighters that we have. These 100,000 fighters are not frightening this little Christian boy. I am not frightened about it. You think the Jewish state will be frightened because he come out and boast about his 100,000 fighters? No way at all. If you think you will frighten them and me, the Jewish state, and you will frighten Shemi Perez and them, and you will frighten me, Eric Braxton, wasting his time. That's why I say silly on his part. Silly on his part. And therefore, I am appealing to all the Christians all over the world. Let us continue praying for the state of Israel. Because the Bible must pray for the peace of Jerusalem. So let us continue praying for the peace of Jerusalem. The Church of God all over the world. Let us continue praying for the peace of Jerusalem. For the peace of Jerusalem. Because when Jesus Christ comes back to this earth, he's coming to bring peace to the whole of mankind. Not only to the Jews, not only to the Arabs, but to the whole of mankind. You understand? But I say, I say I have to talk about this. You understand? You understand? And he's talking about his 100,000 fighters. I have 100,000 fighters, man. He's flexing his military muscles. You understand? And when he frighten the Jewish state with his 100,000 fighters. I feeling that Shemi Peres, the opposition leader now, former prime minister, will start trembling in his boots. Or the current prime minister Israel will start trembling in his boots. You see how silly this guy is? This leader of Hezbollah. Very silly on his part. Poor guy. He does know better. He so hate the Jews. He want to slaughter and kill out all of them. Yeah, he's a modern day Haman or not? That's as that Haman, as you read in the book of Esther, who want to kill out all the Jews in the Persian Empire, the Second World Empire, from that stretch from India to Ethiopia. And he want to kill out all the Jews. That's like he. It come down through the centuries, you know. He's a modern day Haman. And all the Ayatollah in Iran, Revolutionary Republic of Iran, Persia, them is modern day Haman. They want to kill out all the Jews and wipe out all the Jews, eliminate the Jewish state. Yeah, that's why there's a state they want to eliminate the Jewish state. Yeah, that's us Haman. And he's a modern day Haman in Beirut. Yeah. All of better believe what this little Christian boy telling all this. So I just say, let me put this on the table to one and all. So you all will see where Eric Braxton is coming from and what I'm presenting to you all. So you all will look and see what I'm telling you all. Yes, so, but that don't mean to say that I write them off or not. They are the enemies of the Jews, but at the same time, we pray that they will be saved. That God will save them. and they will change, and they will really see the Jewish people for who they are, the chosen people of God, and what the Bible say about them. You think they will come to that knowledge? Yes, if they start reading the Bible, despite as Muslims, and that will change them. And then you understand? So they will have a different view to the Jewish people, the true view. But right now they are in ignorance about the Bible say about the Jewish people. Because remember they're reading the Quran. And the Bible and the Quran is two different books. Some people say it is the same book, but that's not true. You understand? Because there's Muslims when the Jews are not Muslims. Are the Jews Christian? Yes, the Jews are Christians. They are Jews. So what book they have? Not the Bible? All right, so they are Christians. Jewish Christians. Understand? So I say, let me discuss that with you all and put that to the fore. And I just pray and I hope that you all arrive to the same conclusion that I arrive at concerning the leader of Hezbollah. Pity on, silly on his part, eh? Only I find so. Well, I find so. That's why I mention it to him. Mention it to you all. Silly on his part. Silly on his part. Silly on his part. He believed this 100,000 fighters now. He will get rid of the state of Israel with his 100,000 fighters. What do you all think? That his 100,000 fighters will overthrow the state of Israel today or tomorrow when he call upon them according to with a click of his finger? They will be able to blow away mountains before they will be able to blow away all the Jewish people now. You understand? Using the mountain as a parable before you say the Jewish people. All you think that will happen? Well, if any one of you out there who is supporting him with his silliness, thinking he will achieve that, silly on all your part too, because you all doesn't know what the Bible says. Silly on all your part. The same way, that's as you all. You all will be there as in the time of Esther. Haman had his supporters to kill out all the Jews. You all be supporting this modern day Haman, which is the leader Hezbollah in Beirut. You all will be supporting him with his silliness against the Jewish people. Do you all want to support him with his silliness? Well, if you all want to go that route, what can I say? Silly on all your part too. And I hope that you all will see the light and come to know better if you all are supporting that silliness and to walk on that silly road that he's walking. That's how I'm putting it over. You all could say I'm rude. Well, if you all will come to that conclusion, that's how I'm putting it over. So you all will stop and check and see what I'm telling you all in this video. He's not frightening the Jewish state with his 100,000 fighters, neither me. With his 100,000 fighters, with his 100,000 fighters, with his 100,000 fighters, with his 100,000 fighters. Not, and he will not overthrow the Jewish government. I could assure you all that. He will not overthrow the Jewish state with that 100,000 fighters. He will not overthrow the Jewish state. You see that David enjoyed forever. And he will not overthrow Jerusalem. And he will not run all the Jews out of Jerusalem and take over the country and get all rid of the Jews outside of Palestine. And he will not slaughter all of them as the first Haman tried to do. And he's a modern day next Haman, trying to accomplish what the first Haman tried to do. The same how the first Haman failed miserably and he was beheaded by the gallows that he made for Mordecai. I'm not saying he will be beheaded, but he will fail miserably same way too. I can assure you all that. This little Christian Eric Bracton, way down in Trinidad in the Western world, in the Caribbean. I'm telling you all that to all your face. Whether you all accept it or reject it, that's the fact of the matter. That's the fact of the matter. He will fail miserably the same way too. You all don't believe that? Well, I'm telling you all that. Accept it or reject it. But of course, I still want you all to accept it, because that's the truth. That's the truth. That is the truth, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And I'm presenting it to you all. And I'm presenting it to you all a full 100%. Accept it. He will fail miserably. Oh yes, and I was watching him very carefully in his interview with the foreign journalist who was interviewing him. But on my part, I didn't listen to the whole interview. I just watched a little part of it. But I think tomorrow Saturday I will click on to his account and listen to his to that interview that he had with the reporters. Another previous um, interview that he had in the past, but I'm more dealing with the current one. He's boasting of his chest with his 100,000 fighters, man. His 100,000 fighters are coming to the end of this video. It's 100,000 fighters. They don't have one big fighter. They have no submarines. They have no Black Hawk helicopter. Israel have all these things. You see? They don't have war tanks. I mean, the government troops in Lebanon had that, but his men doesn't have that. They have the AK-47 and the rocket launchers and the different explosive device. And they have the drones. I know that's the thing they have. But they don't have no plane, they don't have no helicopter, they have no tanks, and they have no submarine. The Israeli soldiers have all these things. And the latest in these things that America have supplied to them, that France have supplied to them, that the British have supplied to them. You all know that. And other countries that Israel have purchased weapons, high-tech weapons, to build up the military machinery. You think Hamas with Hezbollah now with 100,000 fighters is matched to that? No way at all. You see? Silly on his part. Silly on the part of the leader of Hezbollah. To be flexing his muscles, thinking with his 100,000 soldiers, he will be able to, with a click of his finger, the trigger of that war with Israel in no time. Today or tomorrow, according to he, because he said that's a click of his finger now. His men, his fighters are ready to respond to attack the state of Israel and eliminate them. Do you think that will happen? Silly on his part. Silly on his part with that 100,000 fighters that he has. He's only fooling himself at the end of the day. Can't you all see that? He's only fooling on himself at the end of the day. Silly on his part. Silly on his part, I see. Silly on his part. The state of Israel enjoyed forever. The seed of David enjoyed forever. And he will not get rid of the seed of David, of the Jewish kingdom. He will not get rid of the house of Judah, the three tribes, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, the southern kingdom. He will not wipe them out, and he will not eliminate them, and he will not slaughter all the Jews. That Moran Haman, the leader of Hezbollah, he will not accomplish that. I know that is a sinister agenda, but it will not come in fruition. You understand? You understand? He will not achieve that. He will not achieve that. None of them will achieve that. What you all think? What you all think, ladies and gentlemen? What you all think? You all think with his 100,000 fighters he will succeed? He can't succeed at all. He will fail miserably. Miserably. Well, if Ole doesn't want to accept what I say, wait and see and watch. Wait and see and watch. I'm playing the waiting game too. Not playing the waiting game. I'm waiting and watching. You will not achieve that. You will not achieve that, ladies and gentlemen. I could assure you all that. A full 100%. I could assure you all that. I know the name, but in the mighty name of Jesus Christ and Nazareth, you will not achieve that. The seed of David enjoy it forevermore. All these nations will have to accept Israel's right to exist as any other nation upon the earth. So, that's the facts of the matter. Silly on this part. You know, I just pray that this video and the first one that I put out, that anyone in the Arab League who know this, the leader of Hezbollah, and see this video before will you all do the right thing and mention that I, Eric Braxton, will record a video, the first one and this one, it's like part 2 to the first one that I made, which is, let us see it as part 1. So he will get this video and listen what this little Christian boy Eric Braxton is saying to him. And he will make that conservative effort and watch this video and listen what I'm telling him. You think he will humble himself and bring himself on that high horse that he's riding and come down to this level and sit down like how I'm sitting down? Lowly, low, not high up, and listen what Eric Braxton is saying? You think he will be able to do that? And ponder and listen what I'm saying attentively and see what I'm telling him? You think he will be able to do that? Well, if any of you all, colleagues or friends or acquaintance, to him who will see this video before he see it, well then make mention to his video and recommend that he watch my video and listen to this very important message that I have for him. And of course all his fighters and supporters. And not only that, all his 100,000 fighters who have access to the internet. I would like all of them to see this video and listen what I'm saying to them too. His 100,000 fighters in Hezbollah. All the Hezbollah fighters, I would like them to watch this video and listen to the message that I am telling them. This little Christian boy, Eric Braxton. Because when I'm speaking to him, I'm speaking to all at the same time too. All you think all is left out. Addressing all you too. Because if I address it, I'm speaking to all you too. So all get that message crystal clear. Hamas fighters. Not Hamas, I mean Hezbollah fighters in the Baka Valley of southern Lebanon. I hope you all get this message clearly. I am speaking from Trinidad. I'm giving you all this message from Trinidad up there. And I hope that you all see this message and listen what Eric Braxton is telling you all. Every one of you all in the organization of Hezbollah. I just hope you all listening, that you all will see this video and listen to what Eric Braxton is telling you all. And I recommend all the Hezbollah fighters, all they take time and read the book of Esther and see what happened to Haman, who wanted to eliminate the Jewish people in the Persian Empire that stretched from India to Ethiopia. What was the end of his demise, as the term is, his demise, let me use that term as people just say, the demise, the end of Haman. What happened to him? But before all you read it, I will tell all you, he was beheaded by his own gallows, 50 cubit high, that he make. And he wanted King Ahasuerus to put him hang Mordecai on the gallows. King Ahasuerus tell his men to hang him upon his own gallows. And the 10 sons of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, was also killed and hung upon the gallows too. because because his evil plan was to wipe out all the Jews. And Hezbollah fighters on that is all a goal, on that is all a big achievement to destroy the Jewish state. Hmm? But the same way whole Haman failed, you all will fail the same way too. Hezbollah fighters, all here. But I know you all, a lot of you all will say Eric Braxton is a joker. He's a joker, Braxton. You only talking that talk down here. We are guerrillas fighters. We are guerrilla training. We help the Syrian army fight against the rebel forces in Syria who trying to throw Assad. We have years of combat. We are trained fellas. Who is you? A little preacher boy talking this talk to us. We have AK-47. We are trained. So a lot of them will say, we have time to study Eric Braxton. You only talking, but we have weaponry in our hand. So we are afraid of Eric Braxton. And this talk that Eric Braxton is telling me, we have to listen to Eric Braxton because we quite up in Beirut, Lebanon, he quite down in the West Indies and a little tidy island called Trinidad and Tobago. I know a lot of all will be thinking that way. But I still have to give all of the message from here to all up there. We will follow our leader. Because according to all you, he's on the right track. And he's leading all you on the road of glory, on the road of liberation, on the road of emancipation. And all the Hezbollah fighters are thinking that way. And all they are doing it for the country of Lebanon. And you all are doing it for the Arab world. And all these things you all will be saying. Huh? On Hezbollah fighters, all here, that make up the 100,000 fighters. A lot of you all will be saying that. I know that. And you all will say Eric Braxton is talking hogwash and foolishness. And of course, nonsensical garbage or nonsensical foolishness. All these things you all will say Eric Braxton, a little Christian boy who believe in the Bible and supporting the Jewish state, are talking these things to us. Who think Eric Braxton is threatening us with this talk? I know all of you all will think in that way. I want to respond to me in that matter, in that manner. And that's why I'm saying it before I even hear it from you all. Mouth. I don't know all you're thinking already. I don't know all your mindset. So that's why I'm saying it before I hear it from all you. Hezbollah, all the Hezbollah 100,000 fighters in the militant group in the southern Bekaa Valley and southern Lebanon. All you think all you get rid of the Jewish people? All you think all you eliminate all the Jews and run them out of Palestine or slaughter all of them, kill out all of them, so all you will walk in Jerusalem and celebrate that victory over the Jewish people. Now all they take over Palestine, and all they will sit and all will set up all their government in Jerusalem, and all they will be ruling Jerusalem, and there will not no more Jews there. All the Jews will be outside of Palestine now, and that is all the goal, and that is all the achievement. All you think all they will achieve that? Hezbollah fighters, 100,000 fighters of Hezbollah. Well, if you all think you will achieve that, as I said before, silly on all your part. Silly on all your part. You all will not achieve that at no time in the future. I could assure you all that. I, Eric Braxton, could assure you all that through the power of our Lord and our Savior Jesus Christ. You all will not achieve that. To slaughter all the Jewish people, run them out of Palestine, and claim that land as all yours, because God gave it to them in the first place. I want you all to know that. God gave it to them. Before I ended this video, I want to teach you all something, Hezbollah fighters. I'm the leader of Hezbollah. I, Eric Braxton, this little Christian boy, want to teach you all something. You see, God created this earth. And when God created this earth, there was no human beings upon this earth. And God gave this earth to them. He first established a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he gave that land to the Jewish people, Palestine. Because he's the creator of the earth, and he could give any part of the earth to who he wants. Because he created the earth. It will remain that way, and no human being will change that. No human beings will change that. Because God is the creator of the earth, and he gave the Palestine to the Jewish people, to the 12 tribes of Israel, forever and ever and ever. So they didn't really steal no land from nobody, but that's the history all you get, to fight against them. But you all have it wrong. It's God who gave them that land to possess it. So God will do nothing wrong. All you think God do something wrong, all you have it wrong. It's a misstanding on all your part. Ignorance it. Because God is the creator. For instance, when God created Chinese people, God could tell the Chinese people, I give all of Brazil. I create the earth is part of Brazil. I give all of Brazil. Go and own Brazil. You see? God could do that because he created Brazil. You see? Because before he created the Chinese people, he created the whole earth. On the earth is part of Brazil. So if the Chinese is in China, he could tell them, go down in Brazil and hold our land. I give all it. You see? God could do that to any people. Could tell them, I give you all this, own this land. I give all that island to see, go and take it and own it. In spite of that people there. You see? God are doing nothing wrong. Because when he created the whole earth, there was no human being on the earth. No Jew, no Chinese, no Indian. We come after. So that's why God could do that. And in fact, he do that. He did do that. And that's why God are doing nothing wrong. You see? You see, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I use these as an example so you all will catch the principle. So that's why God gave the Jews the land of Canaan, Palestine, in spite of that people there. Of course, when God delivered the children of Israel, and when Abraham was walking through the land of Canaan, when he left Babylon and entered the land of Canaan, on it had different tribes there. Of course, Abraham made the different tribes. Philistines, the Canaanites, the Jebusites, all of them was there. But on God still tell Abraham, I give you this land. You see, that's what I'm trying to show you. And when the children of Israel came out of 430 years of bondage in Egypt, and they was going to possess the land of Canaan, on it had all the different tribes in the land of Canaan, right? But God gave them that land still to own it as them one forever and ever, in spite of that people there. So God are doing nothing wrong, because let me go back to the original. When he created the earth, there was no human being. So the earth belongs to God. He created. And now we choose these people to own that land and give it to them. God do anything wrong? He do nothing wrong. Because the very said people who he given to own that land, he created people and created the earth. But the difference is he created the earth first, and then human beings came on it after, as you read in the book of Genesis. All you understand that now? Right. In other words, the earth was created before human being. Then God put human being on it and give that set of people that land, Canaan, Palestine, starting with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he established the covenant and their seeds after them. Read it in the book of Genesis. God committing a sin? Or you see God committing any crime concerning that? Not at all. Because he created you, that's why he could do that. But you all Arabs are blind to that, are ignorant to that. And thinking the Jews, and thinking God never give no land to no Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and what the Bible teaches wrong, and he never established no covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to give them this land and their seeds forever and ever. That's a make-up thing. And Abraham and Isaac and Jacob come up with that lie, and their descendants believe in that lie, and they went across it with Joshua and to wipe out all them people and wipe out all the tribes. the people and take over the land. So they steal the land from all you and all the Arab nation. And now it's trying to get rid of the Jews. Or the 12 tribes of Israel to get them out of that land so they could get it back. Or nice they believe all they have? Well, all they have it wrong. I tell you all what the Bible states is true. Concerning that, what the Bible says is true. God really gave them that land. But, let us hold it for the time. A lot of you all will not still don't believe what I tell you earlier. But you see, when Jesus Christ come, you, Mr. Leader Hezbollah, and all in the Arab world, all the Arab nation, Hussein Eric Braxton is talking a bunch of hogwash and of course nonsensical garbage, foolishness. Well, when Jesus Christ come back to the earth, he will clear it up. I could talk about it far as what I know, and I read in the Bible concerning that. But Jesus Christ know more than me concerning that. And when he come, he will clear it up for the whole of mankind. I could assure you all that. He will clear that matter up to the whole of mankind. When Jesus Christ come again, he will clear up that matter to the whole of mankind. And the whole of mankind will understand it clearly now. If they don't understand it clearly now, they will understand it at that time. He will clear it up. Because he is God himself, and he will clear up that matter for one and all. And I end it on that note, in no other name, but in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. And now, you, Mr. Leader of Hezbollah, and your 100,000 fighters, I could assure you in this part 2 video, I discussing about you and your 100,000 fighters in the southern Bekaa Valley of southern Lebanon, in the country of Lebanon, is not ending this part 2 video. I tend to speak about this topic in other videos to come. In other videos to come. In other videos to come, ladies and gentlemen. So look out for these other videos coming all the way soon. Part 3, Part 4, and Part 5. Another part where I tend to discuss about this topic. Very importantly, ladies and gentlemen. Very importantly. Very importantly. Very importantly. Very importantly. In no other name, but in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Shalom, please. See you all in the next video soon. Bye bye, my friends.